Hello there, people of the internet. How are you? I don't care. I don't know you. But I'm sure you really care about me, which is why you're watching this video, isn't it? I know. I'm so lucky to have all of you supporting me so far. All like 0 of you. So while I have you, I would like to actually talk about something that I find really important, and that is mental health. Now, I'm sure automatically you're like, ugh, mental health, ugh, crazies and bipolar like my mother is because she's menopausal. So that right there, that jumped conclusion of what I'm about to talk about is really what I do want to talk about on this channel is that stigma, that undenying feeling that you get when you hear somebody mention the word mental or suicide or depression or anxiety. I think this is important because it damages the mental health community as a whole, as well as individuals, and stigmatizing people for no reason other than the fact that they have a body problem, such as kidney stones or high blood pressure, is ridiculous and it's wrong. And I think the best way to change that is through education. So throughout this channel, I would like to talk about almost all of the mental illnesses there are, from depression to schizophrenia to bipolar disorder, all of it. And I'm going to break it up in, smaller videos. And so there's different types of, you have subtypes of different mental illnesses. I'm going to break that up into different short videos. So that way it's a little easier to watch, because I know listening to me draw on already, you're probably ready to click that down, thumbs down, or whatever it is these kids are doing these days. So let's talk about 2 different scenarios. The first one, let's say that there is a man who's having some stomach pain in his stomach and in his back. So he goes to the doctor and they're like, oh, you have kidney stones. We're going to have to admit you to the hospital for a few days. He's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And, a couple days pass and they get rid of the kidney stones, and the doctor puts him on some medication that he might have to take for the rest of his life, just to help regulate that kidney problem that his body's not being able to regulate itself. Your first reaction is probably like, oh, kidney stones suck. I don't want those. I heard it's worse than childbirth or whatever. But there's no awkwardness with it. There's no immediate like, ugh, I don't want to talk about that, like there is with a mental health problem. Let's say the same man doesn't have kidney stones now, but he is feeling suicidal and he ignores it because he doesn't want to be seen as weak, because having a mental health problem is weak because of that stigma. So he ignores it, and eventually it just piles up until he attempts suicide. He fails and he winds up in the hospital. If you were to find this out, what would be your first thought? Would it be, oh, that sucks? Or would it be, he's probably faking it and he just wants attention? Or he just needs to suck it up? These examples are understandable because that's just how people view mental health these days. However, they need to change. In order for us to advance mental health care, we need to change the stigma that surrounds mental health. In 2004, there was a study done in Britain where 46 participants who had mental health problems ranging from depression to schizophrenia, the whole spectrum. And these interviewers, they asked them questions about their mental health, how it affected their life. But really what they were wanting is for them to talk about stigma. In order not to lead the participants on, the interviewers avoided the word stigma and really wanted the participants to bring it up naturally. And it turns out that they did. What they found was there's 2 different main types of stigmas that people tended to bring up during these interviews. The first one is understandable, where the person had faced discrimination and therefore felt stigmatized for having a mental illness. This isn't really surprising, considering discrimination can make you feel all sorts of ways, to include being stigmatized. However, 41 out of 46 participants said they felt stigmatized without any sort of discrimination, especially among their family and friends. One participant even said that she didn't know how to tell her family and friends because they would be appalled that they were moral and having a mental health wasn't in that morality that they held. This is so damaging to that person, because now they don't want to talk about it. And many of you know, I'm sure, that the main part of mental health is talking about it. You have to talk about your problems, or they're just going to build up and you're going to explode and do something stupid. like try to commit suicide. That's just a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And if I can change one person's mind on how they feel about mental health, I'll feel that I have done a good job. Or maybe I help somebody realize that they're not alone and that they're not stigmatized. Anyways, I feel that it's a little important for me to talk about my experience. So I'm not a doctor. This channel is for only information purposes. I will always list my sources in the description boxes. If you feel the need to correct me or whatever, then feel free to do so. But please list your sources so I can go back and correct it as well on the video with one of those little text boxes or something. I guess I'll have to figure out how to do that. I'm not tech savvy. So anyways, yeah, my personal story. I am a psych major and I'm really excited to become a doctor. I think I'm going to do some neuroscience, maybe even a little bit of clinical. I really like to focus on research though. However, apart from being a psych major, I do have my own struggles with mental illness. I've been diagnosed with OCD, major depressive disorder, PTSD, and anxiety, which, kind of comes with all three of those types of mental illnesses. The depression I've had for a really long time, I just kind of ignored it like most people do, and it just built up until I had a psychotic break, literally, and I wound up in a mental hospital and I got help that I needed. I have OCD. I've had that for a really long time, ever since I can remember. My whole family has it actually, so it's not a surprise that I do. And I have PTSD. The PTSD that I have is not a normal PTSD. It's complex, which means that over a long period of time, I was subjected to numerous amounts of trauma. And that ranges from sexual abuse to an actual abusive relationship. And we might get into that a little more, but I don't feel the need to go into details right now. So stick around and you might find out just why I'm so fucked up. But you never know. So anyways, please give this video a thumbs up, click subscribe, and just wait for the next video. I'm really excited. I think we're going to start off with depression, maybe some anxiety, and eventually I'm actually going to have maybe some guests on to talk about their different mental illnesses. I know a friend who suffers from gender dysphoria, and she's going to be on as well. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm Mental Bear, and thanks for watching. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why I call myself Mental Bear, and there is a very reasonable explanation. Because I'm mental and I'm a bear. So when I decided to make this YouTube channel, one of the things that I wanted to encompass was the reality of mental illness and to help further, destigmatize mental illness. And when my husband was looking, and kind of reviewing the videos that I had kind of already made to maybe put together into a first video, he gave me some advice that I wasn't being very real. And, I agreed. I felt very robotic, and this is what I'm going to say. And so as you can see, I've already filmed, an introduction video, and that's great and all, but I want my audience and my viewers to know that I struggle, and this is one of those days. This is what you get. You don't get, a perfect, cute shirt and some makeup and a smile to hide the fact that you're struggling. And I think that it's important for people to see that this is kind of what it looks like. I'm not crying. I'm not like freaking out. I'm not having a panic attack. But you can tell that I'm upset. You can tell that there's something wrong. And this is the raw reality of mental illness. This is what it looks like. Stressed out fucking pimples. Like it looks like I haven't washed my face in years. And it just drains you. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. And you're not alone. And I know that most of you know that, but I'm here as not only a victim as well of, mental illness, but a fighter against that stigma that I can't go out in public like this because I just look awful or I feel awful, or people will know that whatever mental illness you have will come to light, and I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy my channel, and as soon as I can, I'm gonna get right back into that awkward robotic script reading for information, and I'm sure we'll have more of these moments of, wow, you should probably go put on some makeup, mental bear. And I'm just like, yeah, I probably should. So until then, goodbye.